Well, I think he should have released this during the campaign. So proud to be a New Yorker. The American dream continues. Alex Soros is like, it's like, I don't know what to compare him to, but he always posts these pictures of Democratic politicians kissing the ring in his apartment, which doesn't look like an apartment any New Yorker can afford, where he's towering above New York. He doesn't look like someone who just rose up to that level of penthouse like George Jefferson did and finally got a piece of the pie. He looks the part of nepotism. He is the perfect foil for the right wing, and it's all of its billionaires who control all of its policies. And he decides to post this the day after Mamdani, or the moment Mamdani gets elected, and it taints his victory. But there's a reality there. Of course, Mamdani's working with Soros. Soros funds the entire party from top to bottom. And people close to Mamdani have been, people who've come out of Open Societies Institute are working very close with Mamdani, very closely with him. And there's sort of a bridge between him and Obama. That's just the reality. Again, he's not a really like a socialist candidate. He's not going to be able to do actual socialist things. He's a reformist candidate he's trying to bring some basic reforms to New York. So this doesn't shock me in any way, but it's being treated as a scandal. And of course, it gives the right what they want. It makes him seem like controlled opposition, whether he is or not. I think it's kind of like, why do that?
Yeah, well, I mean, my problem with the right and their critique of Soros is they critique the Soros family for the wrong reasons. I do think the Soros family, through Open Society, has some projects that are,
detestable. I mean, he's an anti-communist billionaire.
Well, I was going to say otherwise. I was going to say like some of the projects are actually, I think, are noble. Like domestically, I think they fund some good things, like on criminal justice, I think, and on immigrant rights. I think they fund some, but on foreign policy, obviously, they've helped to stabilize foreign governments on behalf of the U.S., and that's where they've done a lot of damage. But the right doesn't oppose them for that. What I'm saying is I think the right sometimes opposes the Soros money for things that I think are actually laudable.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's unfortunate that any billionaire sets the agenda, but they're setting the agenda in the Democratic Party. They're setting it in the Republican Party. George Soros is an imperialist wizard, as Covert Action Quarterly put it. And that's a legendary piece written in 2001. Go back to that to see what a slime bag George Soros is. But we despise him for reasons that are totally different from the right. I mean, as far as taking on socialism is concerned, he's actually been opposed to socialist governments all around the world, including the one in Venezuela. Open Societies Institute has kicked in millions of dollars to support the radical putschist Venezuelan opposition. Nicaragua, Cuba, they've been all over that. Syria, Soros has openly called for regime change in Syria. And obviously Russia, he is a mortal enemy of Putin and wants to see Russia balkanized so he can make off with their assets. And that's why Zoran Mamdani is not a third worldist, as his father is critiqued as. He's not someone who actually wants to challenge Western hegemony. Let's just do away with that idea. Go ahead.
I mean, I don't know we don't know what's in his heart.
No, we do.
But I mean,
he went to South Florida, Aaron, and called Maduro a vicious dictator.
Okay. Well, where I agree with you is that he's certainly not going to be like governing as like an anti-imperialist. I agree with you. He's going to be a reformist, moderate candidate. And yeah, I mean, there's no dispute there. I agree with you that the hype around him from the right of being like a Marxist and all that, it's totally overblown. He's pretty reformist in his political orientation. I'm saying that I've never talked to him, so I don't know what he actually really believes. In the past, I've seen him tweet some great things on the anti-imperialist front that I really agree with, but it's not as if I think that's ever going to translate to his policies in office.
Yeah, sure. I think the Zoran Mamdani doesn't want to deal with those issues. When he was in South Florida, he's put on the spot. So he says the most predictable thing you can say to make sure that he doesn't catch any heat from the Gusano industrial complex. And he's ceding ground on the anti-Semitism issue as well. He said he will have Zionists working for him. He's not taking a militant line on these things. That's why I'm not really that focused on electoralism. And I'm not going to get caught, popping champagne and doing shots at the bar with Hassan Piker at his victory party or whatever, because I just, I feel like I'm tempering my expectations, and I know what's possible in American politics, and it's really not that much. And there was someone whose name I was groping for, like Andrew Cuomo was groping campaign aides allegedly. And it's Patrick Gaspard. He was the head of Open Societies for several years, and he's now an advisor to Zohran Mamdani. So this is like well-known stuff. And he came to Mamdani, I think, through an Obama connection. Obama, by the way, has refused to endorse Mamdani. So it's a defeat for the Israel lobby. It's a blow to them. It's a blow to their sense of control. It's a blow to that wing of the Democratic Party that they can't control the largest city in the U.S. It's a sign of things to come, including generational shifts, demographic shifts in blue states. And I don't think there's much Mamdani can do to implement a militant socialist agenda, let alone to make New York more affordable despite his best efforts, because the forces arrayed against him are enormous. And where can you make housing more affordable in New York? It would have to be like in the outer boroughs by building more housing, unless you can really, really take it to the developers. And that would be a massive fight. I think it would mean he has to win several terms.
Can I say one more thing about the issue of Zoran Mamdani in Cuba and Venezuela? Because I'm just reading about it now. And initially, he was interviewed by Jorge Ramos, the journalist who infamously tried to interview Maduro and got, and they basically tried to corner Maduro with all the typical regime change talking points. And then you had a run-in with Max. And in that interview, he actually didn't take Jose Ramos's bait. He declined. He said, I haven't really thought much about Cuba and Venezuela. And he didn't call them a dictator then. And then after there was an uproar, and then the campaign issued a statement. So that's what I'm saying is, like, I don't know what's in Mamdani's own heart. And yeah, politicians will sometimes then be pressured to make certain statements that they might not even necessarily agree with. And that strikes me as what happened here. I don't think he's like your typical Democrat when it comes to foreign policy. I think he has certain instincts that obviously then get tempered when he has to deal with the reality of the campaign and how hard it is to have an openly anti-imperialist position. And I'm not trying to say that this means he's that I share all of his politics, but I just don't think, in terms of ranking all the Democratic Party sellouts, I just don't think he belongs in the same category as all the normal politicians we're used to, including Bernie Sanders.